math time. Trying to get math time finished before we have our 10 o'clock Zoom meeting. So, and the biscuit is up and moving around. Good morning. Yes. So anyway, let's look at written practice. It's lesson 79. We're going to try to do as many as we can do. If you can get all 30 of them done, minus the 2 we did yesterday, that would be great. If you can get half of that done, that would be great too. I'll wait to send the actual answers though on tomorrow so that you can grade your work, and hopefully you'll get it all done for me, okay? So let's look at written practice number 1. It gives us a circle graph. It says use the circle graph to answer these parts A through D. So let's look at it. It looks like how Franz spends his day. All right, so here's his whole day. 6 hours is at school, 9 hours is sleeping. So we have an hour of eating, 2 hours of other, 3 hours of homework. Wow, that's a lot. TV for an hour and playing for 2 hours. There's no way you have 3 hours of homework. That's ridiculous. Okay. A, what is the total number of hours shown in the graph? Well, if you add them all up, but if you're thinking about it being a day, how many hours are in a day? 24. So yes, when you add them all up, it is 24. What fraction of his day is spent watching TV? Well, out of that circle graph, it says 1 hour is spent with TV, right? All right, so lesson 79, and it's 5:53, I think, to 56. So number 1, it had an A, and we said there's 24 hours. That's what it represents. B is asking 1/24 time is spent watching TV. And then C, if Franz's school starts at 8:30, what time does it end? Now what we know is that how long is his school? 6 hours. So let's just count. 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 1:30, 2:30, 3:30. When does it get out? Here we go. 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 1:30, 2:30. 6 hours, right? So we count it 6 hours. So from 8:30, and I go around the clock 6 times, he gets out at 2:30. So let's write 2:30 p.m. though, because we know it would be in the afternoon. Okay. D, which 2 activities together take more than half of his day? Okay, so what is half of 24? Yes, 12. So we need to add 2 parts of his day that equal 12. So if I look at sleeping and playing, that's only 11 hours. If I look at school and sleeping, well, that's 15 hours. That's too much. How about school and homework? So 6 and 3, that's 9. No. All right, how about school, 6 hours, playing, that's 8 hours. Which 2 activities together take more than? You were right. So the answer to D is C, school and sleeping. So school and sleeping equal 15 hours, and that is more than half his day. More than, I didn't read it correctly. All right. So let's look on to the next page. 1/5 of 60 eggs were placed in each box. How many eggs were placed in each box? And then they gave us like a little graph. I don't know that we need to do the graph, but if it helps you, I say let's do it. But I know that 1/5 of, right, 60. 1/5 of 60. So now I know that that equals 60 over 5. 1 times 60 is 60, 5 times 1 is 5. Now I have an improper fraction, or I'm going to divide. 5 goes into 60. 5 goes into 6 one time with 1 left over. So how many eggs are going to be in each carton? 12 eggs. Yes. I don't think you needed my help at all. Number 3, estimate which of these arrows would be pointing at 2,250. Now, if you look at this, they have a number line that's from 2,000 to 3,000. And then they give us 3 points. There's not even necessarily any kind of markings, because they're not going to do that from 2,000 to 3,000, but they give you, let's see, this would be A, then they give us B, and then they give us C. 2,250. Well, I got to figure that this one looks to be about in the middle. So I know that would be too much. So it has to be, by process of elimination, A. And you would be correct. A is the one that, as I'm estimating, would be closest to 2,250. All right. Good, good, good. Okay. 4, find a reasonable estimate of $4.27, $5.33, $7.64 by rounding each amount to the nearest dollar. So 427 is $4. 533 is $5. 4 plus 5 is 9. All right, I have 9. Now, what about 764? I would round that to $8. So 9 plus 8 is, I'm not going to answer it. Write it with a dollar sign and a decimal 00. Thank you. Number 5. What fraction of this set is not shaded? All right, so you see it almost looks like, what is that, a rack of balls for a pool when you're playing pool? All right, so when I look at this, I see only 3 out of how many? I count 10. 4 and 3 is 7, and plus 3 more is 10. So of that, 3/10 is not shaded. So you would write 3/10. Let me see if I can't. Right now, we're on number 5, and I would say 3/10 is not, oh, 3/10 is shaded. Miss Taylor. But that's not what it's asking me. It's asking me what part is not shaded. So you don't have to write the first part. That's Miss Taylor's mistake. But you can write the second part. And then that was 5A. 5B is what decimal so this is A, and then 5B says what decimal point is shaded, and you could say 0.3 or 3/10. Yay! All right. Number 6. Kurt drove across the state at 90 kilometers per hour. At that rate, how far will Kurt drive in 4 hours? Make a table to show and solve your problem. Okay, so 1 hour equals 90 kilometers. 1 hour equals 90 kilometers. So when we think about our chart, it just helps us recognize what we're doing with our little brains here. So I'm going to put hours, and then I'm going to put kilometers. So for every hour, he goes 90 kilometers. Okay, so for 2 hours, he would go 180, right? For 3 hours, he would go what? 270. So what could he possibly do at 4? And what pattern is it that we used? We took the number of hours, 4, and we multiplied it by 90 kilometers, and you would have gotten 360 kilometers. Good answer. All right, good answer. So you can draw something like that and circle, that's your answer. Because it's in a chart, we know it's kilometers, and if you want to, you could put km down here, just to show Miss Taylor that you did label the answer, right? Good. Okay. Number 7. Is the product of 3 and 7 a prime number? Well, no. The definition of a prime number is a number that's divisible by itself and the number 1, like the number 11. 3 is a prime number, yes. 7 is a prime number, yes. Multiply them together, no. Then that number 21 is divisible by 1 and 21 and 3 and 7. So no, it is not. Number 8, what is the perimeter of this square? What do we know about a square? All sides are equal. So if 5 inches is on the top, it's 5 inches on the bottom, and it's 5 inches on either side. So they want you to tell them the perimeter in inches, okay? If the square were to be covered with 1-inch squares, how many squares would be needed? They're just asking you the area. Why don't they just say area? I think they want to see if you know what they're talking about. So you would say area equals length times width, 5 times 5. So what is 5 times 5? 25 inches squared. Very good. We did number 9 yesterday. 10, 11, 12, and 13. Adding, subtracting, multiplying. I'm not doing that for you. You're going to do it, and you're going to do it right. You're going to remember to bring the decimal point down if necessary. If it's dividing, you're going to bring it up. So 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, all multiplying, dividing, subtracting. You can do this. Now number 19, and probably we could do a couple of these together. So I'm jumping all the way to 19. If you want to pause me. If you want to leave space on your grid sheet for that, do so. All right. We're going to jump into number 19 because it's like a small equation. So it's saying 4 with the letter P or variable P equals 160. What's the opposite of multiplying? Because 4 by any number means they're multiplying. Yes, so the opposite of multiplying is dividing. You figure out that answer. I've given you the process of doing it. All right. Number 20. The square root of 64 is divided by the square root of 16. Now, you would never see that in a real math problem. However, here they're wanting to see if you remember what square root. That's hard to draw. All right, so 64 and 16. Okay. So I guess we could come down here. This means the same thing. Okay, 64, what number times itself equals 64? 8. 16, what number times itself equals 16? Ah. Boom. Got it? Good. All right. So you know that 21 is just an improper fraction, which means it's a division problem, and you're just going to divide your denominator and your divisor. They're both your dividing daddy. All right. So you go ahead and divide with that. Number 22 is a little different. Again, an equation, and all we have to do is follow our rules. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. She's nuts. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to first do my parentheses. Please excuse. And I'm going to do my exponents. So 6 squared. It's not 6 times 2. It's 6 times 6. So it's 36. 2 cubed means 2 times 2 is 4. And 4 times 2 is 8. So I've gotten this so far. You with me? All right, so now I need to add 36 plus 8. What am I going to get? Yes. I'm going to multiply that by 10, which means I'm just going to add a what to it? I'm going to add a 0. So 44 times 10 equals 440. Good job, good job, good job, good job. Find the perimeter of this rectangle, first in centimeters, second in millimeters. So you know how to find the perimeter where you add all the sides. And then here, the measurements are already given to us in centimeters. So you'll do the first one easy. You'll add all the sides, and that's your answer. Make certain you use centimeters. Now, how many millimeters are in a centimeter? 10. So I'm going to take my answer from the first part and multiply it by 10. And that's going to be my answer in millimeters. 24, the thermometer shows the outside temperature on a cold winter day in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. What temperature does the thermometer show? I'm not going to give you the answer, but I am going to tell you, first off, Grand Rapids, Cedar Rapids, Iowa is very cold. You're heading up towards Canada. That's where you're heading, okay? And if you look at your thermometer, it starts at 0 and it's going down to -10. So I would tell you that your answer is going to be negative degree. You're going to figure out which degree it is, okay? All right. Number 5, Mulan spun completely around twice on a skateboard. How many degrees did Mulan spin? First off, Mulan's mama must have really liked Disney shows. 360 is a complete circle. So if they did 360 once and they did 360 twice, what would I do? I would add 360 plus 360. Or I would take 360 times 2. And that's going to be your answer. We did 26 yesterday. 27, sketch each of these triangles below. Which of these triangles does not exist? So you're going to draw 4 triangles, okay? Equilateral, all sides are equal. Isosceles, 2 sides are equal. Scalene, no sides are equal. And the one that can't be done is an equilateral that has a right triangle. So on letter C, you'll write does not exist, okay? All right. 28, how many different amounts of money could you make using any 2 of the 4 coins shown below? Name the amounts. So you can only use 2 coins. And I'm going to tell you there's 6 different amounts. And what you need to do, remember how we used to put A, B, C, and D, and then we would make our little groupings. So you do A and B, A and C, A and D. Then you would do B and C, B and D, and so we're going B and A. All right. As you go through, you're going to find 6 different amounts. They're all change. So make certain that you do either the decimal point, 0, let's see, $, 0, decimal point in the amount, or you can write the amount with the little cents sign underneath it or besides it, okay? 29. Cora estimated the quotient, which is the answer to a division problem, of 261 divided by 5 to be 50. Explain how Cora used the compatible numbers to make her estimate. So all you gotta do is she took 261 and she decided that I could bring it down because I'm estimating to 250, right? So you would just say that she estimated the number of 261 to the nearest 50 or tenths space, tens, and so you rounded it to 250, and then you were easily able to divide that by 5. And that's where she would have gotten it. Write and solve a subtraction word problem for the equation 175 minus something equals 84. So you could say, John Mark had 175 Pokemon cards. He gave 84 of those cards to Juanito. How many cards did John Mark have remaining after he gave those 84? So you could write that, but I also want you to solve it, all right? So hopefully you got through all 30 and we can grade it tomorrow. See you in a little while.